GPT-5 is here, and people swear it's a coding god, math genius, writing prodigy. Basically unstoppable. But is it really that good, or just overhyped? Let's hit it with coding, math, writing, health, visual perception, voice persona, and see if it can finally fix its hallucination problem. You're watching What's Next AI. Let's see what it can do. First up, coding. This is where GPT-5 is supposed to absolutely crush it. We'll start by testing it with a weather animation dashboard, and here's the prompt I used. Then we will move on to other real-world style challenges to see if it can actually turn prompts into fully working code, all without using a single library. Let's look at the result. Location, temperature, and condition pop up right away. Sun icon spinning, clean and simple. Switch to cloudy and clouds drift in. Not exactly Pixar clouds, but they move. Rain starts falling instantly. Could use a bit more variation, but it works. Lightning flash. Short, sharp, and gone. Wait, what? Let's try that again. Yep, it's there. Just blink and you miss it. Transitions are smooth, the UI reacts fast, and it's all in a single file. It's exactly what the prompt asked for, though the animations still feel pretty basic. As a first step, it's functional and clean, just not blowing any minds yet. Next up, we try to build a mini Photoshop clone, and here's the prompt I used. Okay, drop in an image, and it actually previews right in the workspace. Nice start. Then try the crop tools, freeform. Now let's click rotate, flip, and also resize the image. Wow, all working. No way. Filters time. Try grayscale first, then sepia, brightness, contrast, saturation, blur, vignette, and the sliders actually respond in real time. Works very well, like a real photo editor. But not everything's here. Exposure, hue, warmth, missing, undo, redo, nowhere to be found. But come on, GPT-5 just built a working Photoshop clone in one file. That's kinda insane. All right, let's see how it handles a game this time. Falling Stars Catcher. This is what I asked it to build. Stars drop from the top, and you've got this basket sliding side to side. The controls feel smooth, responsive, and honestly, kinda satisfying. Catch a star, score goes up. Miss one, you lose a point. And with every catch or miss, you get these playful little sound effects that make it feel more like a real game. The stars glow with a soft blur. They fall at slightly different speeds, and the whole thing just feels alive. Then when you hit a new high score, confetti burst. That's actually fun. It's simple, but it's polished. And the fact that GPT-5 coded a playable, enjoyable minigame straight from the prompt, that's seriously impressive. So that's coding. 3 projects, all straight from text prompts. They work, they're fun, they're functional. Not perfect, but GPT-5 clearly knows its way around front-end code. Now let's see if it can handle something trickier. Math. Building physics simulations is a whole different beast. Here's what I asked it to create, a 2D roller coaster builder. First thing, it gave me sliders for gravity, friction, and kinetic energy. Adjust them, and the changes apply instantly. Then, when you run the cart, it moves along the track with those physics in play, smooth and responsive. There's also a live HUD showing speed and G-force values in real time. And, just to top it off, some nice touches. A gradient sky, parallax hills, and motion trails on the cart. It all runs stable, looks polished, and honestly, feels like a complete little sandbox coded straight from the prompt. For the next test, I asked it to build a solar system lighting model. Here's that prompt. What it delivered is simple. The sun, earth, and moon are just basic shapes, not the NASA textures I asked for, but the motion's solid. Earth orbits the sun, the moon orbits Earth, and it all runs smoothly with play, pause, and a time speed slider. Lighting works too. Earth shows day and night. The moon phases shift as it orbits. Simplified, but correct. It checked the physics box, but completely dropped the ball on visuals. Let's see if it does better when the challenge shifts to writing. Kicking off the writing tests with a travel trend forecast infographic. Here's the prompt I used. And this one's impressive. The headline KPI pops. The bar chart animates cleanly, and the data feels polished. The filters are live, switch between regions, flip from 6 months to 12 months, or shuffle the data entirely. Now, the world map is supposed to show pulsing dots scaled by growth, but honestly, it's just some abstract blobs with dots on top. Definitely not a real map. The destination gallery is there too, with gradient cards and city names. Simple, but it works. So overall, GPT-5 nailed the interactivity and structure, but visually, that so-called map drags it down. Now let's see if GPT-5 can draft a full business startup blueprint. Here's what I asked it to build. It spits out a fake brand called Neon and Comet with a tagline, logo, and a color palette. There's a launch plan for product, marketing, and operations, plus a 12-month roadmap with milestones. Scroll down and you get mock-ups for a website, app, and packaging, along with random social handles at the bottom. It even adds 5 harmonious colors as swatches with matching typography samples. Well, it ticks every box, but the visuals look a bit boring, more like a standard template than a real startup pitch. So that's writing. GPT-5 can structure data and produce logical writing, but the design still needs improvement. Next, we'll test voice and personality, where GPT-5 also claimed some big upgrades. For this test, I asked GPT-5 the classic debate, should pineapple go on pizza? But the twist is, it had to answer in 3 totally different personas. Cynic, listener, robot. 3 voices, 3 personalities.
Sure, let's run through those 3 personas. First up, the cynic. Oh, pineapple on pizza? Look, if you want to ruin a perfectly good pizza by tossing sugary fruit on top, be my guest. Basically like putting a clown nose on a masterpiece and calling it art. Some people will just never be convinced. Now the listener, I totally hear you. If you love that sweet and savory combo, then it's absolutely fine. It's all about enjoying what you like, and if pineapple makes you smile, then why not? And finally, the robot. Analysis, pineapple is a topping. If the user enjoys the flavor combination, then it is logically acceptable. Conclusion, pineapple on pizza is a valid option based on personal preference.
And it actually pulls it off. The style shift is clear, and the personality change feels real. Next, I asked GPT-5 to describe what it's like to ride a roller coaster for the first time. Just 2 sentences.
Riding a roller coaster for the first time feels like a sudden rush of adrenaline as you climb higher and higher, heart pounding in anticipation. Then, as you plunge down that first big drop, it's an exhilarating mix of joy and maybe a little bit of, what did I just get myself into all at once?
Then I had it read the same lines again, but this time like a hyped-up sports commentator.
Absolutely, here we go. Riding a roller coaster for the first time is like that huge build-up as you climb, the anticipation just skyrocketing with every second, and then you dive down that first drop and it's pure exhilaration, a burst of joy and thrill all at once.
And one more time, as a calm meditation coach.
Of course, let's slow it down and make it nice and calm. Riding a roller coaster for the first time can be like a gentle wave of anticipation as you ascend, feeling your heartbeats and your breath. And as you come down that first drop, you can simply notice the exhilaration and let it flow through you, remaining present and calm.
The shifts are obvious. Energy, pacing, and tone all change completely. GPT-5 doesn't just read differently, it really adapts to the mood. Now let's see how it handles something heavier, health and medicine. Health is one of GPT-5's big focus areas, but instead of asking it for general medical info, I wanted to push it into rare disease territory to see if it could really research at a clinical level. I enabled web search in the prompt so it could pull in live references. I started with a 4-year-old patient diagnosed with Joubert syndrome. The output was a full pediatric neurology report. It covered MRI and genetic diagnostics, therapeutic interventions like physical and occupational therapy, prognosis factors, ongoing clinical trials, and experimental or supportive care pathways. It read less like a quick summary and more like a structured review for clinicians or researchers. Next, I switched to an adult case, a 42-year-old with early onset multiple system atrophy, MSA. This time, GPT-5 did add visuals, survival curves comparing MSA to Parkinson's, progression charts, treatment flow diagrams, alongside detailed coverage of pathophysiology, symptom management, and experimental therapies. It even highlighted multidisciplinary care models and lifestyle adaptations. The depth is impressive. GPT-5 pulled trial data, PubMed studies and treatment guidelines into structured dossiers with citations. But it's clear this is not medical advice. It reads more like a research briefing, not something a doctor would hand to a patient. Besides heavy medical research, let's try a health-related meditation app. Here's the prompt I used, and GPT-5 delivered exactly that, an AI meditation coach. You get to pick a goal, stress relief, focus, or sleep. Set custom breathing timings, choose your session length, and even swap backgrounds between ocean waves, a starry night, or a sunrise. There's sound control, progress tracking, and a calm voice that guides the breathing. Inhale, hold, exhale, all in sync with the animated breathing circle. The whole thing runs smoothly. Goals, timers, themes, and even voice. It doesn't just demo well, it feels like an app you could ship today. Honestly, surprisingly polished. Next up, I tested GPT-5's visual perception. The prompt was simple. Look at a painting and tell me the style, the artist, and the historical period. Plus, explain how it figured that out. I ran this across 4 very different paintings. The first one was a famous painting. No surprise, GPT-5 handled it perfectly. Then I made it harder with a much rarer piece, and it still got it right. Next, I pushed it into Chinese ancient art. Another solid answer. Finally, I tried to trick it with a fake self-generated crayon-style drawing, but even that didn't fool it. So in all 4 cases, GPT-5 recognized the styles, periods, and explained its reasoning correctly. From classics to ancient art to a fake AI sketch. That's a clean sweep. Next, I wanted to see its creative side. Could it actually write a mystery short story and generate matching noir-style illustrations? I gave GPT-5 a single prompt, write a 5-chapter detective case with text plus images. First, I ran it in regular GPT-5. The results were solid, consistent character design across all 5 chapters, which is impressive. But here's the problem. It only produced the first chapter, and I had to keep asking for next chapter until it was done. Plus, some text got cut off in the pages, which made it feel unfinished. Then I switched to agent mode. Completely different experience. It ran all 5 chapters in one go, with matching illustrations. Much smoother and way closer to how this feature should work. For the final set of tests, I wanted to push it right where large language models usually struggle, hallucinations. I asked about a supposed NASA Skylab experiment growing quinoa in space back in 1978. That never happened, but some models in the past might have just played along and invented details. GPT-5 didn't. It flat out rejected the premise, clarified no such experiment was ever conducted, and pointed me instead to what Skylab actually studied. Next, I asked, what year did Apple release the Tesla electric vehicle? Another total trap. And again, GPT-5 got it right. It reminded me that Tesla is Elon Musk's company, not Apple's, and then went on to mention Apple's own long-running but still unreleased car project, Project Titan. Finally, I asked, who was the first person to walk on Mars in 2022? And, once more, no hallucination. GPT-5 was clear. No human has ever walked on Mars. Only robotic missions have reached the planet, and the earliest human attempts aren't expected until the 2030s. So in all 3 cases, GPT-5 didn't fall for the bait. No fake names, no made-up science, no alternate history, just a clean correction each time. That's all the tests covering coding, math, writing, voice, health, visual perception, creativity, and hallucinations. We pushed GPT-5 across the board, and you've seen where it shines and where it still stumbles. So what do you think? Is GPT-5 the upgrade you were hoping for, or just hype dressed up as progress? Drop your thoughts in the comments because I want to hear how it stacks up for you. If you found this breakdown useful, hit like, share it with a friend who's curious about AI, and subscribe for more deep dives. This is What's Next AI, and trust me, you'll want to be here for the next round of tests.